So today we're talking about raising our kids to be bilingual, speaking more than one language, and the importance of that. So, to better understand where my heart is, I think you have to know a bit more about me. So, I was raised here in the United States, but I was born in Tanzania and I'm married to a Kenyan. So, Swahili is everything, okay? So, I grew up speaking Swahili with my parents and my brother. But what I lost when we came from Tanzania to the US is I lost my mother tongue. So I lost being able to speak Kimasai. And so that has plagued me since I can remember. I've always been really insecure about not knowing that language. So what I wanted for my children once I had children, what I wanted for them was for them to know, at least to know Swahili, right? Swahili will get you, when we go back home, you can speak to anybody and you know Swahili. So that's why I have made it kind of like my life's mission to make sure that they know Swahili. Even if they never go back home, they need to know that language because it's a part of their culture and it's a part of who they are. It is important for children to have an identity, a cultural identity that they can root themselves in. And so, a part of that culture piece is language. And language gives them almost a passport to the world, right? So, if you speak another language, it also makes it easier for you to learn even a third or fourth language because your brain is kind of used to doing that dance of two languages. So they're not just stuck in the United States or where people speak English. They can go where someone speaks Swahili now. So you kind of give your kids some options. I hope you kind of understand my heart for it. And that's why I'm really passionate about Swahili and creating Swahili resources for children. Because I think it's important that our children know their mother tongue, know the roots that they come from, and language is a really key part of that. And so these are the things that I'm trying to implement. I by no means have mastered how to raise bilingual kids because my kids are little. And so until they're speaking fluently, I'm still learning just like everybody else. But I wanted to share what I've learned and what I've researched so far in case it could help somebody else. And so the number one thing everybody says is just to speak to your children. So speak to your children in that language. So if you know the language that you're trying to teach your child, speak it to them, right? And make sure you speak it to them often so that they're exposed to the language. Even if it doesn't seem like it's clicking in their head, just continue to expose them to the language by speaking to them. If you don't know the language yourself, maybe have like a grandparent or somebody else who knows the language who they're regularly talking to, talk to them in that language. So the number one key piece is to speak to the child in that language. That's probably the easiest way to get a child to learn another language. And start when they're little, really little, start then. If you wait until they're older, it's still possible, but it makes it a little bit harder. Another tip for raising bilingual kids is to expose them to the language. So expose them to language through music, through books, through songs. Expose your kids to songs that are in that language. Expose your kids to TV shows that are in that language, to books that are in that language. Just anything that you can get your hands on to get your kid exposed to that language you want them to learn, do that. So I'm working on creating resources for Swahili specifically. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out here. But another tip is to go to the country, right? Go to where that is the native language you're speaking. So for us, that means traveling to Kenya, traveling to Tanzania, and staying for a while, all right? Staying maybe for a summer break, all right? Maybe a month or two. But then they're kind of immersed in the culture. And so that helps them to recognize the language more, helps their brain to pick up the language faster if they're immersed in it. So that is the main language there. So that helps. Just think about it for yourself. If when you go to Kenya or Tanzania or wherever, and you come back, your Swahili is a lot better because you've been immersed in it. You've been immersed in that language. And so your brain picks up on new vocabulary words, new diction, new tone, everything. Your accent sounds different, everything when you go somewhere else. So if you can do it. Please take your kids out of the country and have them immersed in the language that you're trying to teach them. And then finally, have them write and memorize in that language. And so writing helps with memorization, and if you can help them memorize some things in that language, I think that helps too. But mostly it's just talking to your kids in the language you want them to learn. Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just talk to them. Just talk to your kids. All right. That's it. All right. Anyways, I will be updating you guys. This is a lifelong journey, so we'll see where my kids end up. But the hope and the goal is to help them to know their mother tongue, and know Swahili. If I can get them to know Swahili, my job is accomplished. If I can get them to know the other languages, then your girl did her thing. Your girl did her thing. Okay, anyways, bye.